and welcome back to another screencast on algebra, one of my favorite topics. And why do I love it so much is because a lot of people struggle with it, but once you get to know algebra well, it's really easy. We're going to be talking about multiplying out of brackets. Number one, there's going to be a few of them, but I'm sure you'll find this just ridiculously easy when you just forget that it's algebra, listen to what I'm saying, and away we go. Okay, so to expand a bracket means to multiply each term in the bracket by the expression or the number or the letter outside the bracket. Here we go, we've got 2x, so 2 bracket x plus 10 close bracket. So all we're going to do is going to times both those items by the item outside the bracket, which in this occasion is 2. So I'm going to say 2 times x and 2 times 10. And that's all I'm going to do. So let's look at some real easy ones without algebra in there, without letters in there. Question number one is, what would we do here? Okay, very simply, we would say 3 times 2, wouldn't we? Okay, would give us 6. And 3 times 5 would give us 15. And we would add those two numbers together to give us 21. Now, some people would say that we could add them together, yeah, and then we could times them by 3. Now we can do that with these questions, but I'm not teaching you that way because when we add letters, they're not like terms and they can't be added. So if we can just focus on doing it this way. So the next one is, we've got 4 bracket 2 plus 5 close bracket. So it's going to be 4 times 2 gives us 8. 4 timesing by 5 gives us 20. We would add those two numbers together to give us 28. And the last one, before we move on to some algebra, is what will we do here? Pause the video, give it a go, come back and see if you've got it correct. Okay, so first up, we would go 4 times 5 gives us 20. And then 4 times 2 gives us 8. We would add those two numbers together to give us 28. Now, just on all of these ones, we would add them together because they're like terms. But if they're not like terms, then we can't add them together, just like what we're going to find when we move on. So now we're going to add some letters in here. Okay, but the process is exactly the same. I'm going to go and I'm going to say for the top one, I'm going to say 3 times A gives me 3A. Then we go 3 times 2 gives me 6. So it's plus 6 because it's a plus 6, isn't it? The next one would be 5 times b gives me 5b, and 5 times 2 gives me 10. Now these are not like terms, are they? 3 apples and pounds, whatever we want to think about them, they're not like terms. So I can't add them together and say it's 9a, because it's not. I've got 3 apples and 6 pounds. I've still got 3 apples and 6 pounds. I don't have 9 apples. If you think about it like that, then you won't be far wrong. Okay, so now it's time for you to give these ones a go. Top tip is it's a negative. Don't worry about it. Just go through, see if you can get them right. Come back, and if you've got them wrong, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to cross them out, make a note, and no one's going to know. So do it now. Come back and see if you've got it right. Okay, so first up we would go 2 times b gives me 2b. And then 2 times minus 3 gives me minus 6. 2 times 2 gives me 4. And 2 times minus b will give me minus 2b. Now if you got a little bit confused on that, don't worry, but you can see why now, I hope. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move to these examples. So little top tip is, this one's the same. But when we've got this one, once we multiply it out of the brackets, we would then add this information to it. You may struggle with this bottom one. I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine with the top one. But if you struggle with the bottom one, don't worry, because as soon as I show you, you'll get it. But it's well worth giving it a go and seeing if you can do it on your own. So pause the video, give it a go, come back and see if you've got it right. So for the top one, we've got 2 times b gives me 2b. 2 times positive 2 gives me positive 4. Now for the ones underneath, we're going to multiply the brackets first using what we call BIDMAS, yeah, order of operations. So we're going to say 3 times C gives me 3C, and we'd write that underneath. 3 times B gives me 3B. And then we've also got plus 3C plus 2B. Now we've got some like terms. Now we can add them together. So if I add my 3C plus 3C, I get 6C. And if I add my 3B plus 2B, I get 5B. Hopefully that makes sense. That's about as hard as it gets on these types of questions. They do sometimes bring in negative numbers, which we've already done, which makes it a little bit more difficult. But if you can do so far, then you're not going to have any problems. But it is now time for the quiz. Pause the video, give it a go, come back and see if you've got it right. I'm sure you will. Good luck. Okay, so let's have a look at the answers now. So first up we had 2 times A, 2A. 2 times 3 gives me positive 6. So that one I hope you all got correct. The next one was 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times minus B is minus 5B plus 10B. Well, if we take away 5B from 10B, we end up with 5B. So it's 10 plus 5B. All right, so fingers crossed that was easy for you. If it wasn't, go back and watch the video again. Just see the just see all the ins and outs. I can't even say it. Just make sure also if you are struggling, you might be struggling just because you're watching the video. You need to be doing it along with me. And if you have been successful, then write some revision cards on this or a revision card on this using the questions that I've put in here. And good luck for the future. But until next time, it's been an absolute pleasure helping you with your maths.